This is Patrick. It's the 27th of August 2011, and I'm here in Daegu. I've been here a little bit over a week, and today I want to talk to you about some of the little differences that I picked up on while I was browsing the streets of the city, doing the things that you would expect a person to do that just arrived and is trying to figure things out. So, first of all, I went to my university and I went through the campus several times just trying to figure out where different buildings were and that sort of thing. And what I found surprised me a little bit. Everyone on campus seemed to have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. What have I been missing all these years? Um, for some reason, that's the way it is. It seems that people here, when they get to a certain age, that is the university age, probably their early 20s or so, they just start dating like crazy, and everybody has a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So I think I read in that book that I presented to you in the previous series of videos that it's really easy for Koreans to say that they're going out with somebody. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean it's serious or anything, but from what I could see, it seemed pretty serious. Like people were, just out there on the lawn. It's a really nice green campus, and everybody was out there doing their own thing and holding hands and doing that sort of thing. So that was quite surprising to me. Um, Also, I noticed their appearances that they're very pale, and most of them wear glasses. So my take on that is, after I've been to the library and saw that it was fully packed, although the semester hasn't started yet, my take is they're studying all the time and they're on their computers and their smartphones, and that way, their eyesight goes out the window. But maybe I'm wrong. So if you guys know why that is, or have any comments at all, feel free to post them, and I'll be happy to get educated a little bit more. Um, Also, around the university campus, there are a lot of convenience stores and little restaurants or cafes where you can get a lunch or dinner or something. And what I really like about those places is that they're open 24/7. A lot of them are. So if you find yourself wanting a beer or a snack at 2 in the morning, um, I really don't think that's a big deal around here. You just go and get it. It's that simple. So I really like that. I mean, after having studied in Scotland for so long, where 10 o'clock comes and you can't buy any more alcohol, and you can't really go anywhere because they'll kick you out of all the pubs at 12 o'clock. Being here is great because you really can enjoy all there. There's so many different places, and you can really there's a huge variety. It's very cheap. I mean, I went to a Japanese place to get Japanese food, and I paid something like maybe $5 for that meal. So that was amazing for a meal that in America would probably cost $30. So that's absolutely amazing. That's definitely a good thing. Another interesting thing that I noticed is that not only around the university, basically everywhere, on buses, billboards, everywhere, hagwons, which are academies, places where students go after school, I guess mainly high school students, um, advertise and try to get more students that way, because that seems to be the biggest thing here. It's bigger than sports, or basically they take in all the students that they can get and teach them their whatever it is, math, Korean, I don't know. I guess they teach them in advance so they would be academically excellent, and that way they could go and go on and study further and get into really good universities. Like, education here is perceived as something, I mean, is of the utmost importance. I believe people here sacrifice a lot to give their children the best education possible, and they really push them hard. Um, the family that I visited last year, I heard that the two children, I think they're 14, 12, or something like that, maybe even younger. don't even have any time. I mean, they just get up in the morning and they go to bed at, I don't know, 10 o'clock or something, after they literally spend the whole day, learning and taking in new information and studying. So that's the approach most Koreans seem to be, um, in favor of. So that's one thing that I'm not sure I like. But on the other hand, today I met three 11-year-old girls, and we had a pretty nice conversation in English. So that tells you that something's right. I mean, this emphasis on education. I guess you must learn something if you spend that much time studying. The other question is whether that amount of study time is actually healthy or not. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you to decide. Um, yeah, I did mention that there were all these academies. That's interesting thing, because when I saw these academies for the first time, all that advertising, I thought it must be something like casinos, because back home in Prague, casinos are everywhere. But here is as many academies as there are casinos in Prague. So I find it a little peculiar. Anyway, let's move on. When I was traveling on the bus mostly, I noticed an interesting thing. Bus drivers here wear gloves, and when you get on the bus, it's just like anywhere else, except you only use the front door, and then you either pay, and you get your change from a machine, or you you brush your card against the card reader, and they'll tell you how much money you've got left on your card, and then you can go and take a seat. And when you get off, um, normally it's really busy around here, so the door always opens, and then you just get off. But when it's not a busy stop, you have to press a button similar to what I know from Britain, and then that's you. Um, Another thing on the bus was that I noticed that some seats were labeled blue and some were yellow, and my friend explained to me that the yellow ones are seats for senior citizens. So if you're sitting on one of those, make sure that there's no senior citizens around. Really, you shouldn't be sitting on them. It's simple as that. The bus drivers wear white gloves, which I find amazing. I mean, I just find that fascinating. And oh my god, the way they drive is just crazy. They just go and slam the brakes every 2 seconds. Like, everybody's just holding on to the handles, flying on the bus. Literally, it's crazy. I don't know if that's different from your city or not. I guess it's a little bit more intense than what I'm used to. Uh, in cars, interesting thing. My friend took me on a trip to the mountains to see his family graves and clean them, because there's a big holiday coming up, Korean Thanksgiving. And when we went there, I buckled up, and he said, "What are you doing? You're sitting in the back." So that way, I found out that in Korea, you're only required to buckle up, to wear your seatbelt, if you're sitting in the front. If you're sitting in the back, don't matter. I really don't know if that's always been like that, or not, if it's going to stay that way, and if they have any more accidents than we do in Europe, or if they have in the United States, but that's the way it works around here. Um, the cars, in general, what I noticed is they're like 95% of them are Korean makes. There are few, you'd see Honda, or a few Japanese cars, but mostly Korean. Occasionally luxury cars, usually German. Um, you might see a truck once in a while from the US, but really you'd struggle to find one. And I was just wondering whether that is because the Korean government incentivizes for Koreans to buy Korean products and Korean cars, and if they put higher taxes on imports, or what the story is. I don't know. I'll try to find out for you guys. If you guys know, let me know. Make a comment, and like I said, I'll be happy to learn something new. Um, about cars, one more thing. Where I live here in this part of Daegu, there's so many car shops. Like, you know, places where it's car shops and places to wash your car, and it's just like there's, I don't know, maybe 17 on one street. It's crazy. I don't really know how they make a living, but I did notice that the traffic here is heavy, and it's just like everybody must have a car. It's so busy. There's so many people, and everybody has a car. So I guess it kind of makes sense, and everybody makes a living, and they're happy that way. Um, what else? Yeah, I went to. I did read this in that book last year. I remember now. I went to the city center and sat there in a park for a little bit, and I noticed a funny smell that I by now recognize. It's skin cream, and you're much more likely to smell that on the bus or you know in the city center than perfumes. If you do the same thing, if you just walk around in Europe, most places I've been, or you go to a shopping mall, you'll smell, you know, and the woman passes by, you always smell a perfume. Here, you're more likely to smell a cream, and I think women here are generally very obsessed with their skin, and skincare products sell like crazy. So that's something quite interesting. I also noticed that uh, tanning here. I mean, my friend told me it's some. I noticed that people in the city are really pale. People in the countryside are not pale because they work out in the sun all the time. But I've been told that while Western people go out tanning and go to places to get, you know, artificial tan or fake tan or whatever you want to call it. Here, people try to stay as white as they can. You know, they wear these protective clothes, and even when it's hot, they wear gloves. And when you see people on their bikes, you see older women on their bikes all covered up. Don't think they're sick or anything. It's just they're trying to protect their skin against the sun. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've noticed so far. If you have any comments, please leave them right under this video, and I hope you enjoy this. Hope to talk to you guys soon. Take care.